Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the ICC Hour being presented to you by our friends over at Renaissance Bank. I greatly appreciate you spending part of your day with us here. I'm your host, Adam Gore. One of the things I really enjoyed about this show is getting to catch up with people who have come through Itawamba Community College and now are doing some pretty impressive things. Sometimes it's a former player. Other times it could be a former student. And sometimes it's someone who found a direction here at ICC and carried it with them to the next part of their life. Last week, we visited with Will Simmons, who worked with us as a student intern here in the Sports Information Department, and he's now the Assistant Director of Communications for women's basketball and women's golf at Mississippi State. Now, Will had a lot of great things to say about his time here at ICC, how he got started in the sports information, how those experiences helped him for his work that he's doing now in Starkville. If you happen to miss that conversation or maybe some of our other interviews, you can find them by searching the ICC Hour on YouTube, and that's all you got to search, the ICC Hour. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget there's still time to register for the upcoming fall semester here at Itawamba Community College. You can apply today at apply.iccms.edu. That's apply.iccms.edu. Or maybe you're like me. You feel more comfortable talking to someone in person. Come on, visit us on our Fulton or Tupelo campus Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Now this week, we have another one of those ICC stories that's worth hearing. I had a chance to catch up with former ICC football player Daniel Johnson, who is now the Assistant Athletic Performance Coach for the reigning national champion Indiana Hoosiers. You know, what I like the most about this conversation is that Daniel didn't necessarily talk about his journey like it all happened at once. He talks about the steps, the people who helped him along the way. He talks about learning to trust the process, even when the next part of that path was not so clear in his career. We'll talk about how he came to ICC, what his time here meant to him, and how that experience helped lead him to Indiana. We'll also get into the mindset that has helped him grow in his career and what it's like now working inside one of the top programs in college football. You know, it's a good conversation with a former Indian who took his start at ICC and kept building from there. Our visit with Daniel Johnson is coming up next here on the ICC Hour presented by Renaissance Bank.
You belong at Itawamba Community College, and it all begins with orientation. Sign-ups are live, and this is your chance to get registered for classes, meet new friends, and get ready for an exciting year at ICC. Don't wait, spots are limited, and they're going fast. Head to iccms.edu/orientation and sign up today. Itawamba Community College. You belong here.
Guys, you're not going to believe the luck I've had lately. Just the other day, I had a flat tire, thought I was in big trouble. Before I know it, somebody pulled over, fixed the tire.
Oh, that's not luck, Kirk. It's because
That's not the only thing. How about when I'm in a studio, drop the cell phone, bang, shatters completely. Guy hands me a brand new cell phone.
Yeah, Kirk, that's because you have Renaissance Rewards Extra.
Yeah, roadside assistance, cell phone protection, coupon straight to your phone.
And another discount with Renaissance Rewards Extra, Mr. Herbstreit.
Life's just easier when you have Renaissance Rewards Extra.
Daniel, appreciate you joining the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Well, let's go back to the beginning. So you're out of Independence. You and I both share a good buddy out there, Coach Russo, running that program. Talk about just your time at Independence, and then I guess you can take us in or walk us through the recruiting process of whenever you came here to ICC.
Absolutely. Shout out to Coach Russo. Shout out to IHS Wildcats, red, black, and white. I'm a Wildcat for life. Class of 2014. Man, when I think back, a fun fact, and it's probably in the history books somewhere, at least in the Mississippi history books, we lost 26 games in a row. So that is some things that you just never heard of, but that actually was my situation until it came into my senior year. That's when Coach Russo was hired. And, man, I'm talking about just high energy, a passionate coach that cares a lot about you. Man, when Coach Russo came in, I instantly knew that with him, I could take the next step into playing at least JUCO football because I knew that my talents wasn't Mississippi State, Ole Miss. I knew that it wasn't just a confidence thing. I just knew that, hey, like grades and development wise, where I could have a better chance of playing would be at a junior college. We was able to win 4 games and go to a first round playoff. And, we lost to North Pontotoc with some great players on that team. But then it came to that following January, that's when the recruiting process began to happen. And, I got a look from Holmes and Holmes Community College, decent program at the time, but, it just wasn't in alignment. And then me and Coach Cannon had a really good relationship because of Coach Russo. That's why I always thank Coach Russo to this day. I wouldn't be where I am today without Coach Russo always having he actually played a role twice. We'll go into the next part. Mm-hmm. But the first one would be just the relationship that, he had with Coach Cannon when Coach Cannon coached a high-level player that played the same position as me the following 2 years before I got there. And so Coach Cannon came to my high school. I was working at Little Caesars Pizza at one point. He dropped me off to work one time. Like, man, it was everything. And then when it came to the visit, you have Knoxville, you have Starkville. I have all my former teammates. Like, these guys are at these powerhouses. And that was where it was intimidating because I'm like, man, like, I haven't been offered a scholarship yet, but I'm like, man, this dude, Knoxville, he played linebacker too. I played linebacker. I'm like, man, like, I'm starting to, I'm thinking about competition already. And I'm just like, dang. So we go all day, beautiful campus. ICC has the best campus in the country. I'm talking just facilities. Our weight room, it wasn't the best, but I will say we worked the hardest, like in that weight room. Shout out to Coach Ray Williams, former D-line coach that played a big role in my life, especially into my career today. And that's when it just got into, I knew that it was a fit for me. So Coach Williams, who was eventually, he was a coach at Southern Miss at that time, going into at that time, he was at ICC. Man, shot me an offer when we was riding in his car. I think we was like in an Escalade. I can't remember, but he turned on the seat warmers and he turned on the seat warmers. He was like, man, we watched your film. We heard about your leadership. We think you'd be a great asset to our program. So I just got to ask you, what do you say about becoming an Indian? I remember this like it's yesterday. It's giving me chills right now. I remember like it was yesterday. He was like, man, how do you feel about being an Indian? And I said, yes, sir. That's all I said. I just said, yes, sir. And he just started honking his horn, going crazy, just excited. I think he was just doing that, just dude, I'm not naive. But, I get it. Yeah. I get it. And, so I went and met the president of ICC. I met the athletic director, just met all these important people, at the basketball arena. And still one of the best basketball arenas, in my personal opinion, through my time being, in college sports, to say the least, because every time that we go there to those games, man, it was always a great game, or there was just, like, we can come together like our friends. We can just all just kick it, man. Like, we see teachers, but like everybody was just in their own little type of group. And, that's one thing that I saw was that, man, like you saw a lot of the players just kind of use that as a way of like hanging out, getting to know people, like whatever the case may be. And then once I committed, I thought I was just seeing things. And so they took us home and I had to wake up, and then that's when I knew I was going to be an Indian. And so, it came to that point, finished out school, and, then that's when the fun began.
Before we move on from the ICC side of things, let's talk about some of your boys that was here. Some of those fun memories that you may be able to talk about on the radio. Some of them you may not be able to share, but just talk about some of those guys, those relationships. Maybe some of them you still talk to today, but just talk about just those core memories, because I tell people one of my most favorite thing about JUCO, you see kids from all over the state, all other states come in, don't know each other, or maybe they were rivals in high school. They leave best friends. They got new great friendships on down the road. But who are some of those people that you remember from your time here at ICC?
Man, definitely my coaches, 1,000%. All of my teammates from 2014-15, but one of the starting linemen, Brandon Wyndham, that's one of the guys. Myron Watkins, he was a defensive tackle. He played both sides of the ball. Man, my whole class, Antonio Clifton, Tupelo, like all those guys. My guy, he's doing well, but I dedicated my sophomore year, my football number to my brother, Ashton Woodell. He was a linebacker from Tupelo. And at the time, he was diagnosed with cancer, and that was a big thing going around for us. And I remember walking into Coach Cannon's office, and I told him, I said, I didn't call no meeting with him. I just walked straight into his office. I'll never forget. I said, Coach, I want to dedicate my sophomore year number to Ashton Woodell. I was 46 sophomore freshman, and I was just 45. I probably could have picked any number considering being a starter, but I was like, because we was in the box together, you know, and that's when I just knew, like, that was a brotherhood, man. That was a brotherhood, because one thing I never forget is them 5 laps. Anybody that knows what I'm talking about that played, that was coached by Coach Ray, they understand them 5 laps before we worked out. Them 5 laps in the parking lot. It didn't matter. It didn't matter that I'm talking about, go hit it. Y'all know it. And those laps can make a man out of you. I'm telling you, like, that's something I just never forget. Man, the summertime, man. Sonic had these BOGO, like the buy one, get one free, boneless wings. Man, during the summertime, I saw that's we went there, like, and I think it was a Monday. It was either a happy hour or like a Monday night thing. I can't remember. But we would go there throughout the summer, and man, you know, we weren't making money at all. We felt like we was in heaven, man. Like those boneless wings. Man. What I think the last memory I got, man, I remember one time we walked all the way to what's the Mexican restaurant in
Mi Toro.
Mi Toro. We walked from campus. We walked from campus all the way to Mi Toro to get a P5. That's like the chicken steak, shrimp, rice, cheese up. Like that was the ICC football classic right there. Like, man, like it was. Man. Now I remember freshman year. I'm just blurred now because I just remember so much. But it was just a great time, man. I remember there was a barbecue shop right across the street.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not there anymore.
Oh, the barbecue nachos were out of this world, man. Like, it's moments like that. I remember those moments as well, man. Oh, but yeah, those are just a few right off the top of my head. I know that there's way more, but those are just a few right off.
Yeah, any teachers that you remember that may have helped inspire you?
Man. I'm wrong for not remembering her name, but my freshman year, she was my English Comp 1 teacher, and that was like one of the few like classes my first semester in college outside the summer. My freshman year, that fall, it was gritty. Like it was rough, and you know I wasn't doing well. And this is when I learned that having a relationship with a professor is very important, because I cared about my grades, because I wanted the coaches to know, like, I may not be playing, but my grades are still well. I don't want that to be a reason why I don't come back or whatever the case. Mm-hmm. And I was just doing bad, and we just met, and she kept helping me. Then I went from like a D to a B. Like I finished with a B. And I really don't like that I forgot her name. But my English Comp 1 teacher, and she helped me get into an honor society while time being there, that actually helped me with being recruited, because if I had that honor society, it would grant me more football money or tuition would be waived. So like she was like a big, for sure, big asset.
It all leads to this moment. It started with stepping out and discovering what you're capable of, planning your future while learning, serving, and getting a real collegiate experience. Because the place you start can change everything. Itawamba Community College. You belong here.
It feels like the deck is stacked against you before you even start your business. What's the difference between someone who fails and someone who succeeds? To succeed, you need an edge. You might invent technology that nobody else can imagine. Maybe you make the perfect product with the perfect fit. But what every successful business has is a bank that is there for them. Instead of saying slow down, a bank that asks, what's next? Renaissance Bank, understanding you.
So when you look back at your time as an ICC football player, What are some of those moments or maybe some lessons that still show up for you today when you work with these students and student athletes or just working your job in general?
I can take so many angles, but just the biggest thing that I've learned is I don't want to sound repetitive, but I talked about being process driven, but now it's trusting the process. There's a difference, right? Like you don't know unless you know. So for me, knowing that I didn't start right out of my freshman year, I had to really earn my way of getting some type of playing time just to get noticed. And then when you go into the spring, that's when the evaluation hits. Like, the scouts coming out around that time, everything. And then, just trying to see, okay, who are we going to bring on for the following year and who got a better shot? And, and when you go into the spring, you're really developing, getting better, and your leadership's improving. Then when the summer hits, like, okay, like, you now have another year up under your belt to go improve yourself, become a better leader, have a great summer. And then when fall camps hit, you're now announced, hey, you're going to run with the ones until further notice. And then now you just take off. And so now I go from not earning any reps all the way to proving myself to be a starter for 10 weeks straight my sophomore year. Going into, we don't want to go into the situation with East, but we had a situation where we got bumped into the playoffs. And that was just such a fortunate situation. And here I am winning 4 games in high school to, wow, I'm about to experience my first playoff game in college. And that's, and when I think back to what I do as a coach now, is my approach is passionate. My approach is someone that's approachable, relatable, but my biggest message is always being able for guys to trust the process and showing them what that looks like, whether that's my day-to-day approach, my interaction with them, conversations, it could just be just regular interaction, because I know that you won't always be the same person every day, but if you have the same intent every day, it'll eventually add up. And for me, my intention was to take one day at a time, take one rep at a time, do everything in my powers. Man, when we had study hours at ICC, I've learned early to be an organizer. Like I learned to organize my week, make sure my bed was made up before I left my dorm. Like certain small things is when it started to turn into bigger wins. So once I started to focus on like the smaller details, the smaller wins, that's when I receive like personal wins throughout the week, having a good practice or having a good grade show up, or, mama might send an extra $20, $40 into my account just to do it. Like it was the smallest things that I could hold on to rather than just be, all over the place because I don't know what's next to come. So I always just fell back into, taking one day at a time. And to this day as a coach, I try to have that same approach, that same interaction, that same intent every day that I step into the building.
Well, I want to go back and talk about something real quick. You talked about the process driven and then moving on to trusting the process. So let's talk about the process, the being driven, that process driven mentality. Can you build on that a little bit for me and our listeners right now?
I'm going to use an analogy. I'm driven as if your favorite artist, your favorite musician is preparing to make an album. And their process could be song 1 is the intro, and then song 2 might be a build up, then song 3, song 4, song 5 might be something just crazy, then song 6 might be an interlude. Like I'm a hip hop enthusiast, so like certain artists that I listen to, like I'm the same exact way in their studio recording process. Like I watch videos on how do they prepare to make a song or how do they prepare to make an album, and the energy is just different on, because of the instruments that they use, the different producers, the different engineers. Like there's different people that's helping collaboratively to make one song or one album. So I'm the same exact way. When I can collaborate others that I work with, mentors, or just looking at past results data that I have collected over the years, that helps within my program or that helps within my planning. And that alone allows me to be passionate, because you got some out there that do it just because, and then you got some out there that just naturally just have it.
Right.
we always talk about that it factor. And I feel like I had the it factor in playing, like in my college playing days, because I developed for it. I didn't naturally have it. But now that I serve people, I naturally have that energy to serve others rather than it being just something I have to do. So when I plan better, when I naturally have the energy and the want to serve others, it's the best marriage ever, because I don't have to bring energy to coach my players. I'm going to do that anyway. But just imagine if I can coach my players with energy, with a well-executed plan. Not only do you bring the group together and you bring great energy, but you bring in value to the group. And I just think that once I learned throughout my career that you can create value by having information and caring about the information that you bring, that creates a whole energy of buy-in.
You get that buy-in, but how do you get these kids to buy in? You talk about that trusting the process. Now that you've got that process established, that's the biggest part, because if they don't trust you, they don't trust the process, they don't trust this coach, they don't trust the plan, then it's no good.
From a strength conditioning standpoint, I'm gonna start from there, just from a weight room perspective. It's our approach. And it may sound like, okay, what do you mean? So by our approach is, if it's my last day coaching, I try to treat it like that. That's why I take one day at a time. Mm-hmm. That's why I take one exercise. We're going from one block to the next block to the next block, because I'm coaching the warm-up just as hard as I'm coaching a 1RM on the back squat, or I'm coaching post-mobility the same way that I coach pre-mobility. There's no off button when you are trying to build a team and create a team focus. When Coach Sig talks about rapport, and we heard Coach Saban, we heard Coach Saban reference that as well. That's part of the distractions that's today in modern college football. Obviously, you got NIL, all these things, rightfully so. Boom. I'm not here to discuss that, but I'm here to. The distraction level has increased for our players. So it's our task as coaches, especially that spends 95% of the weight room, is every day our approach should be about work. Every day our approach should be about getting better. Granted, once they leave the building, they have time off. But it's all football in the building. And you ingrain that so much to where they're fatigued. They're tired. Like when they leave the building because it's a late day, they don't really have that energy.
Right.
And the thing is, the message is the same from the head coach on down. That's the biggest lesson. One of the biggest few lessons that I've learned is, they asked my head coach, hey, in the beginning, what is it like? I can't say verbatim what, but they'll ask just how you change the program? Like, what is your steps? And then like the main thing he always talks about, we have to have everybody thinking the same. And something so small is like, and I'm like, no, I've been programs to where coaches like would say yes, but then somebody else, a coordinator might say something else. Somebody may say, and it doesn't even say the same wording as the top person said. So when everybody it's a chain of command. When everybody says the same thing, there's no gray area. You know that somebody's stepping out of line when if they're doing B, when everybody's saying, hey, okay, we know that you're wrong. We know that we got to fix you up. Mm-hmm. So I think once your message is the same, the application has to be even higher. Got to be able to practice what you preach. Got to make sure that you're coming in every day with just that mentality that, hey, we're focused on today. We're getting better. That's our approach. And I believe there's something so small like that. So for me, because, there's a million ways to skin a cat, but for me and my time here, it's the everyday approach is attacking every day as if it's your last day and not being able to see the field. You're focusing on the little things, meetings, all the you're pouring into these guys day in and out, trying to exhaust all resources day by day. So when it's time to play ball, when camp, they have the resources and they know how to utilize the resources for themselves.
You're always pushing yourself. There's no time to rest. You keep moving forward. The only thing better than your last accomplishment is your next.
What's next?
What's next?
What's next?
So, Allie, what's next?
I guess we'll see.
Find a bank that's as excited about your future as you are. A bank that asks,
what's next?
Renaissance Bank, understanding you.
Are you in the market for a new or used vehicle? Look no further than Metro Ford. We have an incredible selection of F-150s, Explorers, Broncos, and so much more. Whether you're looking for a rugged truck for the job site or a family-friendly SUV, our expert team is here to help you find the perfect vehicle to fit your lifestyle and budget. And with our streamlined financing process, getting behind the wheel of your dream car has never been easier. Stop by today and experience the Metro Ford difference. We're conveniently located at 1000 Barnes Crossing Road in Tupelo. Online at MetroFordAutoSales.com. That's MetroFordAutoSales.com.
Before we get back to our conversation with Daniel Johnson about his time at Indiana, I do want to remind you that you still have time to become a member of the ICC family. Visit apply.iccms.edu. That's apply.iccms.edu, where you can get signed up for the upcoming semester here at ICC. And who knows, you could be the next face in the crowd that we talk about here on the ICC Hour, presented by Renaissance Bank. What point did you realize that you wanted to go in this line of work? Athletic performance was something that you wanted to pursue professionally versus just something you're doing as an athlete?
I didn't know what I wanted to do until my senior year of college, when I was in my final year at Faulkner. When I was there, I got into group fitness training at a gym called Orange Theory Fitness. And when I tell you, when I tell you, that is when everything turned for me, because NAIA is different from the NCAA. So we had somebody come through my PE class, and luckily I was paying attention that day because we had a guest speaker. So they had these weird orange shirts, and then I was listening, and basically they was like, hey, we also are hiring, looking for if anybody's interested in working here at Orange Theory Fitness. And that's when I was like, wait, huh? What? That's when it clicked for me. I was like, wait, so I got that email. Luckily I took a picture. I got the email. I instantly emailed them. And it was like, yes, we are hiring, and, we are interested in, looking for candidates. Woo. So I was like, okay, let me contact my coach and see if I can do this. And my coach was like, he was like, yo, I'm good with it. Just make sure it doesn't interfere with football and your performance. And I said, yes, sir. And then went to the interview, aced it, went to the second one, aced it. And then I was getting paid like $10 an hour working at Orange Theory Fitness. And a couple of clients knew that I worked, I played ball, but I wasn't a personal trainer there. I was working behind the desk because I didn't have my certification. So they saw that I was fit and everything. And somebody walked up to me and was like, hey, you should look into being a collegiate strength coach, like a strength conditioning coach. I was like, what's that? Like, I never heard of that name before because I came from small schools. Our strength coach was our position coach. So I didn't, and I was like, they was like, yeah, it's basically you coach, weight room training and, agility and speed work just on the college football level. I was like, oh, okay. Woo. And so we had somebody that was, they're currently at Georgia Tech, but they was at Alabama State, which was in the area of Montgomery, which where my school was. And so I ended up getting her contact, and I got the head strength coach contact. And I knew that I was like, wanting to shadow or come by, just see what they was doing because I was interested. So I went by Alabama State. I went by UAB. My best friend back home, he was playing at Southern Miss with baseball. I went down there. I basically took a tour that summer because I wasn't working. Well, I wasn't working out of the school because it was private school. And my best friend, he was like, yeah, you can come down here for a couple of days. So I'll wake up 4 a.m. every morning just to go shadow at Southern Miss with their football team. And that's when I knew I wanted to do this. Mm-hmm. So I contacted Coach Russo because I was about to finish playing ball, and I knew that I was going to transfer again because they weren't going to be paying for my school, and it would have been much cheaper for me to go to Mississippi State. So Coach Russo got me in contact with the head strength coach, Nick Savage, who's currently at LSU. And he was, I was telling my interests, but I built the relationship like during the season. So I would text him every month, Coach, hey, I hope all is well, because, I was interested in being an intern. So I believe I contacted him May because I believe this is when Dan Mullen was about to go to Florida. And he contacted me. He was like, hey, we got some things shaking up, but we're going to contact you and, let you know if we still have a spot for you as an intern. I'm like, yes, sir. So then he contacted me back. One of his assistants contacted me back at the time, and it was like, yo, like, we want you to come in, for an interview. We want to, get a feel for you. I had the flu, but I was like, I had to shake back in like 2 days. Like, it was bad. I got whatever energy I had, and I went to Starkville, and I met the coaches, and they was telling me, yeah, like, we're about to leave, but we'll have one guy that'll stay, and he'll get in contact with you. I was like, dang, you right? Yeah. I was like, well, so he contacted me, and he was like, yo, we want to know if you're still interested. I done moved into my apartment because I was going to finish up school and start with my final year. And I was like, yeah. I was like, yes, sir. He was like, where you staying? I was like, coach, I stay at so-and-so apartments. I got an apartment over here. He was like, oh, okay, cool. Ooh, all right, you all settled in. Well, we still want you. Are you interested? I was like, I'm like, hell yeah, coach, I'm still interested. I never coached, never played the D1 level, especially SEC, none of that. And I'm like, yes, because I just want to be in the building. I want to learn. I will be there first day. I was like one of the first few guys pulling up, beating them there. And boom, I was at Mississippi State for 7 months. And then I got an opportunity to GA at Toledo. I was at Toledo 18, 19, 20. And then I didn't pass my cert, so I had to retake it. And I got a call from University of Houston men's basketball. And then, once I passed it, when I was down there, I got granted to go to Texas Tech, went to Texas Tech, Louisiana Tech, and then from Louisiana Tech, now I'm here.
Saying it's one of those stories that, one, you invested in yourself. You trusted the process. You had those people that built into you, pushed you to this level now, and it's now not only that, but now you're at the top. I mean, you win a national championship last year. So at what I guess this might sound like a crazy question, but what separates a good strength coach from somebody who just runs a workout?
Guys, you're not going to believe the luck I've had lately. Just the other day, I had a flat tire, thought I was in big trouble. Before I know it, somebody pulled over, fixed the tire.
Oh, that's not luck, Kirk. It's because
that's not the only thing. How about when I'm in a studio, drop the cell phone, bang, shatters completely. Guy hands me a brand new cell phone.
Yeah, Kirk, that's because you have Renaissance Rewards Extra.
Yeah, roadside assistance, cell phone protection, coupon straight to your phone.
And another discount with Renaissance Rewards Extra, Mr. Herbstreit.
Life's just easier when you have Renaissance Rewards Extra.
They say Diet Coke is a mom's drink. Well, you copied her jeans, her spin, her shoes, her scrunchie, and whether you realize it or not, her music. Now, copy her drink. Drink what your mama gave you.
A strength coach that understands the needs for his program and not the wants for his program. See, when you understand the needs of the program, you understand that whether I'm going to La Tech or Indiana, I understand that I'm different with different caliber of players. I understand that the discipline may be different. Not right or not nothing bad, but it may be different. The academic requirements, like it's so many things in, your schedule. Are you working them out in the morning? Or do you have to go afternoon? Like it's so many fine details that helps a coach put the team in the best position to be developed. A good strength coach knows how to develop a team. A great strength coach knows when to develop them throughout the year. So development is it's a yearly thing. You can know how to develop somebody and then you just keep them at a maintenance level. But when you're ongoingly wanting to continue to improve and develop the player, every day should be treated as a day of development. Whatever that's on the sheet, whatever that's program, whatever the emphasis is for the month. Because from my experience, I've learned that it's not just necessarily what I know. It's what I can prove and what I can get the players to do at a high level. You can be the smartest cat in the room, but if you don't know how to push and develop, because pushing them is another thing too. If you don't know how to push and motivate them, it doesn't matter what you have, the buy-in's not there. I believe in creating buy-in by building relationships and creating results.
Right.
So that would be kind of, for me, the difference between a good and a great strength coach is a coach that knows when and how to develop a team.
So let me ask you this. You always got those kids that, they may not be on the field. They may not be that starting 11 guy, but they still got that hunger. And you know about that hunger being a JUCO product. What about being that JUCO product can help you relate to those guys to push them a little bit more to find their way on that field?
You got to work harder than the next person that's in front of you. I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to – there's no magic pill. Put your pride to the side. You don't have to leave the field so soon. Get some extra reps. Get some extra footwork drills. Go to the weight room. Maybe get an extra pump in. Go back with your strength coach and see what your most recent data has been. Maybe go look at your body weight. Like, you got to work harder than the person that's trying to catch up to you and the person you may be trying to catch up to. And that's not just football. That's just life, period. I believe that, a solid strength staff, everybody's competing to get each other better, whether it's how they're coaching, how they're, adding value to the program, to the guys, their sense of urgency, whatever the case may be, because you're getting interviewed every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that, you're not necessarily worried about trying to beat the next man. You're trying to beat your past self, who you were the day before. So I believe just having the everyday approach of finding something to get better is the same thing that I took from my JUCO, because I was the first one up during board drills. I might have weighed 200 pounds soaking wet, but I wanted to go up against the best tight end, the best running back, whomever, the best blocker, whomever. Like, I was not afraid. You can't be afraid to get better or to fail. Because failing, if you care enough, allows you to see what you need to go back and improve on. Right. I think that's kind of one thing that I try to create buy-in with, because I get it. A guy that's mad that he missed a rep, or his time was probably a millisecond or two, a few slower than it. Like, man, like, I really wanted that, right? Like, it's like, okay, like, let's go back. Let's see what we can fix. We'll guys that care. So I believe that as long as you care and you work hard, that's going to handle out a lot of things.
So, before we got the interview going, I was messing with you, me being a Notre Dame guy, you being an Indiana guy. So I'm going to ask this next question with letting you know that I'm going to call Marcus Freeman as soon as I ask this question. What does a normal or typical day of Indiana football look like?
Man, I'm going to just give you my typical day. I wake up around 5:05, get to the facility about 5:45. First lift group isn't until let me give you yesterday's, right?
All right.
On Monday. So team run at 8:00. Team run went from like 8 to 9:05. The O-line, D-line, they immediately go into their lift while the offensive skill, defensive skill, they're out. We're getting some extra reps in at whatever the task may be. And then, the defensive skill group will have a lift group at 9:45. And then the O skill group will have a lift at 10:45. Now, both last about an hour apiece, about 55 minutes apiece. Get announcements. They'll get shake. They'll get supplements. We'll monitor that, make sure they're taking that down, because recovery is just as important as, the session. And, boom. So wrap groups up. Then I will train around like 12:30, 1. I'll get a run and lift in. That'll last me sometimes like an hour, because I like to take my time when I'm done for the day. I try not to rush, depending on the day. And, guys will come back between lunch check for them is from 11:45 to 1:15, sometimes 1:30, depending on, if they don't have a, team meeting or something. And they'll come back, and guys will just come back and get reps. Like, guys will come back, be in the building, man. They'll be watching either film, getting treatment, getting on the jug machine. and guys be there for a couple hours, and then that bounce, and then you're back to it, depending on the schedule the next day.
Yeah, so a lot of people say, these kids don't deserve to get paid. Man, they putting in more of a work day than most people are in this world.
Man, listen, that's a whole nother conversation, because it's just noise. Like it's just noise, and that Coach talks about like that rat poison, man. That it's just noise, man. Like noise, that's just clutter. Got to cut out the clutter, because I think most time, when you try to factor all that stuff in, you're going to see the distract. You're going to see it within your program, because you're worried about validation. You're worried about, oh, well, this site said this. Always have to have a response. And especially today, everybody has a platform, right?
Yes.
But I think that's the biggest thing is we try to keep obviously everything in house, but we keep our guys on the main thing, right? We're getting prepared for fall camp. Like, we're not worried about necessarily the first game. We got to get this team together, and eventually when game week gets here, then game week will get here, then we'll take it from one game at a time. So that same process, it's like the same thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Everybody sees Coach Cignetti on television. Take us behind the door. What is he like whenever he's not, on the sideline, or whenever he's not doing television interviews? What's Coach like?
Very chill guy. Man, listen, I've had my first time meeting him was my interview, obviously, and man, I like, that's just something I can't wait to tell my grandkids. Like, you fly up on an interview, the director of strength conditioning brings you in, and then you're meeting the coaches, and then eventually you have like 5 minutes to meet the head coach. He's a chill guy, but he's a ball guy, like ball, nothing but ball. He's in his office watching ball. I don't spend as much time with Coach because he's upstairs. I'll be in the weight room majority of my days, but most times he's upstairs, watching film. He's preparing for whatever's next. But, anytime I see him at dinner or anytime I'm in proximity, because he's a busy man, like, I'm always, hey, Coach, how you doing? He always speaks. Like, man, that's OG. Like, that's Coach. So, but he's great. My interview with him, had to sit down. He said, man, I heard good things about you. I was like, yes, sir. He was like, you want this job? I said, yes, sir. And then he was like, do you have any questions for me? I paused for like 5-10 seconds. I said, when do I start? He said, you start today. Then we just started laughing, and I just kind of left. I didn't want to, I kind of tell, he had things to do, but I wasn't finna pick his brain and stuff like that, because I didn't know much about him either. I didn't know much about him either before getting hired. And maybe I should have Googled him, but but no, man, love Coach, love working for him. Man, he is. Yeah, man, I'm ready to run through a wall for him on game day. I'll tell you that much. I'm going to just put it like that. Like, when it's time to go out before the kickoff, I'm ready to run through a wall for him.
Guys, you're not going to believe the luck I've had lately. Just the other day, I had a flat tire, thought I was in big trouble. Before I know it, somebody pulled over, fixed the tire.
Oh, that's not luck, Kirk. It's because
that's not the only thing. How about when I'm in a studio, drop the cell phone, bang, shatters completely. Guy hands me a brand new cell phone.
Yeah, Kirk, that's because you have Renaissance Rewards Extra.
Yeah, roadside assistance, cell phone protection, coupon straight to your phone.
And another discount with Renaissance Rewards Extra, Mr. Herbstreit.
Life's just easier when you have Renaissance Rewards Extra.
You belong at Itawamba Community College, and it all begins with orientation. Sign-ups are live, and this is your chance to get registered for classes, meet new friends, and get ready for an exciting year at ICC. Don't wait, spots are limited, and they're going fast. Head to iccms.edu/orientation and sign up today. Itawamba Community College. You belong here.
Man, no matter the profession, you always want to get to the top. You want to, and in your case, win that championship. And you guys did that last year. National championship. Take me through that moment, and just when it kind of clicked in with you that you reached that moment as a team. When did that, because obviously winning the ball game, you're excited, you've won the national championship, but a day or two or maybe an hour or so later, you're just like, holy crap, We just won the national championship.
You know, I lost my phone in the first 30 minutes once the confetti came down. Because I was really, I was upset. I'm like, where's my phone? I can't even get this moment. Like, everybody's, I'm like, no. But you want to know the honest truth? Like, the honest truth. I haven't really shared it, but the honest truth, grateful to be a champion. However, it was a difficult moment because if I'm being honest, my mentor, guy I worked, Coach Owens, who I worked under, who's currently now at Tennessee, you know, he dropped the news, you know, with the guys that obviously I knew, but I didn't know at the time what my situation was going to be like, because it's not that he didn't want me to go to Tennessee with him. It wasn't nothing like that. It's just a situation. It just wasn't in alignment. And in this business, you know, if somebody go, you know, the coach can bring somebody freshly new in and they can bring their own guys, whole new staff. And I didn't know at the time, like, just what was going to happen with me and my situation. I'm like, man, I just won a natty. How am I questioning my livelihood if I'm going to be here another season? So it was an awkward situation. So I never really had a chance. That's the deal. Like, I'm so appreciative for, you know, the acknowledgement, the recognition of the natty. But to me, it you know, honestly, being here, I've been I'm not saying programmed, but honestly, I've been programmed to take one game at a time. So, you know, that was just another win for us. And I'm grateful because I very excited. But then, you know, when that happened, and then when you have the new team, like, as a coach, as a great coach, like, we're focused on the process of what's next. Like, yes, I celebrated the natty for a day, a night, with the fam, everybody. But then, you know, when you have a new group of young men who don't have a natty under their belt or that's new to the program, you know, as a leader and as someone that spends a lot of time, I try not to bring previous success to a current situation. And I believe that's what keeps us so driven, is because we don't focus on the past. Like, yes, that's momentum, but we don't necessarily use that to put a fire in our butt, because we know, you know, what's at stake. And, you know, we're now the ones that being hunted. Like, everybody wants it in Indiana. Everybody wants to, you know, talk smack, whatever the case may be. But, you know, I've embraced becoming a national champion. I don't necessarily wear it with a badge, if that makes sense, because I understand team come. I want to be able to contribute to the current success of that current roster and that current team. If you are a former athlete, it helps that you have some relatability to the game because you understand what players go through. For me, my advice, it's going to always be back in trusting the process, but it's also going to go back into understand what you're getting yourself into. I understand the reality of coaching. It's long hours. You hardly don't get no money. First off, you're working for free. You may have to travel somewhere or travel at an institution that you may be unfamiliar with. Like, there's a lot of uncertainty in the process. If you are someone that's driven off of, then coach period may not be for you. If it's not in your forte, then coach, it may not be for you. There's a lot of things to where if you were a former athlete, now you're going service anymore. So if you was the 5-star athlete, the NIL making, and to be honest, that's a really good thing to be second when it comes to being bigger, the program being bigger than yourself. At one point, you felt that you were the guy or you was a solid athlete or whatever case, but then now you have to put yourself second. So a lot of things in your life come second. You may not make the most money. You may not get the recognition that you deserve. So me, I'm always going to talk somebody out of the profession before seeing if that's truly something that they want to do. It's not a secret sauce with me. I'm going to give you the raw, uncut, like, hey, like, if you don't love the game, or if you don't love the process of the game, if you don't love serving others, if you don't get gritty with your hand, feet, and don't mind long, then it's just not for you. So I would just advise others to seek a sport that they truly want to be involved with. Do your homework on mentors. LinkedIn is a great site, but like Indeed jobs, you have to get on social media and use it to the best of your ability and actually learn, truly go out and read the bios. Like we see so many college athletes. Like I was doing that when I was getting recruited. Like read coaches' bio. Like read where they've been. Read maybe who they've developed. Read, and that will show you. Okay, there's an email address attached somehow. Mm-hmm. Shoot the email. Don't shoot the email as if they're looking for you. Like shoot the emails as if you're looking for an opportunity of how can I volunteer? How can you be of service to their program? And I believe that cuts out all the clutter is when you do your research on places where you want to go, like you gotta figure out what sport, what can you afford? Like, can you move out of state or do you need to go somewhere local? Like do your legitimate homework before you agree to doing something you've never done before. Like I might have played football, but I've never coached at that time. So it's like you got to really research like just the steps that you have planned. Like you got to research. Okay, how am I going to facilitate this into my new life? Because I don't play no more.
Right. One question I like to always wrap up with, and feel free to take time to think about this one because I get tons of different answers on this one. Mm-hmm. What does ICC mean to you?
Everything. I will not be where I am today without ICC. And I'm not just saying that because we're on radio or because we're recording. I'm saying that truly because as a process-driven person, when you look back, the only time you're looking back is how far you've come. And when I look back on how far I've come, it helps me remind myself that anything is possible through faith, through working, and through believing in yourself. Because ICC, I had to climb to go from a 4-game only winning football program to a national champion. And I would not be here if it wasn't the start of my college career at ICC. ICC was my first college, and I have my associate's degree from there. Mm-hmm. And it just helps with conversations and relatability with others that may look like me, that may come from Mississippi like me. Like, no matter what part of Mississippi you come from, if you came out of the soil of the state of Mississippi, you can make it anywhere. And that's how much ICC means to me, and will always mean to me, is that it gave me my first opportunity as a college athlete. It gave me my first opportunity as a college graduate. It gave me my first opportunity to expand my education after leaving ICC. And so ICC is the foundation of my career.
Well, man, I appreciate your time. I know I've taken a lot of it, but man, this has been a great, great conversation. Anything else you want to add before I cut you loose?
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Chalk Nation. Blessed to be in this opportunity. Excited for what's to come for us going into this next season here at IU. I'm excited about the upcoming season for the Indians. Would love to come to a game by chance. We got to figure that out somehow. I know it's Thursday, but we got to figure out a charter or something. We got to get with the president or something because we got to figure out something.
There you go.
I expect to soon accept my Hall of Fame.
I like
it. My induction, but I'm just talking. But yes, man, I'm just excited for what's to come, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely, man. Next time I pass through Indiana, going to that school up north, I'll swing through Bloomington and holler at you.
Absolutely, man.
I want to give a big thank you to Daniel Johnson for joining us today and taking time to share his story with us. You know, Daniel's journey is a good reminder that success does not always arrive all at once. Sometimes it starts with an opportunity, maybe a relationship that you make along the way, a decision to keep showing up, and the willingness to trust the process, even when the steps may not always be clear. You know, for Daniel, part of his story started right here at Itawamba Community College. He came to ICC as a football player, but like so many of our students, his time here became part of something much bigger. It helped him shape the way he worked, the way he prepared, and the way he carried himself into the next chapters of his life. Now he's part of a national championship program in Indiana, helping student athletes prepare to compete at the highest level. And that's one of the things that makes ICC such a special place. You never really know who's sitting in the classroom with you, maybe walking across campus, working out in the weight room, helping behind the scenes, or simply trying to figure out what's next. Now, that face in the crowd today could be someone who goes on to coach at the highest level. It could be someone who leads a company or starts a business, serves their community, raises a family, or now that next face in the crowd, it could be you, or maybe somebody you know. Now, before we go, don't forget there's still time to register for the upcoming fall semester here at ICC. You can apply today at apply.iccms.edu. That's apply.iccms.edu. You can also come see us on our Fulton or Tupelo campuses Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Now, if you happen to miss today's show or maybe some of our past conversations, you can find the ICC Hour on YouTube. That's all you got to search, the ICC Hour. And be sure to subscribe to the channel while you're there. For everyone that helps make this show possible, and for you, our listeners, I say thanks for listening. We'll see you next week here on the ICC Hour being presented by Renaissance Bank. Ready to take the next step in your future? Itawamba Community College is now enrolling for the fall semester. With more than 100 programs of study, affordable tuition, and locations in Fulton, Tupelo, and Belton, ICC is the smart choice to start your journey. Whether you're transferring to a university or heading straight into a career, ICC has the resources and support to help you succeed. Apply today at apply.iccms.edu. That's apply.iccms.edu. Itawamba Community College. You belong here.
Guys, you're not going to believe the luck I've had lately. Just the other day, I had a flat tire, thought I was in big trouble. Before I know it, somebody pulled over, fixed the tire.
Oh, that's not luck, Kirk. It's because
That's not the only thing. How about when I'm in a studio, drop the cell phone, bang, shatters completely. Guy hands me a brand new cell phone.
Yeah, Kirk, that's because you have Renaissance Rewards Extra.
Yeah, roadside assistance, cell phone protection, coupon straight to your phone.
And another discount with Renaissance Rewards Extra, Mr. Herbstreit.
Life's just easier when you have Renaissance Rewards Extra.
It all leads to this moment. It started with stepping out and discovering what you're capable of, planning your future while learning, serving, and getting a real collegiate experience. Because the place you start can change everything. Itawamba Community College. You belong here.